Welcome back to the show, guys. It's great to see you again today. We've got our special guest, Manuel Aguilar. He's becoming one of our favorite guests very quickly here on the show. And we've got an amazing topic for you guys today, something that entrepreneurs really need to dig into. And that is, what is a lifestyle business versus a growth business? Which one are you in? And talk a little bit about the details.
Pros and cons, right?
Pros and cons. Is it good to be a lifestyle business? Is it not? We're going to talk through some of these things because I think a lot of business owners, they get started and they don't have a clear vision what they're doing, where they're going. And so we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit and see how things go. Manuel, thanks for joining us again today.
Absolutely.
Boz, it's good to see you, man.
Hey, as always, it's good to see you guys, dude. I appreciate being seen. Thanks.
All right, Manuel. So why don't we jump right into it? Tell me a little bit, what is a lifestyle business versus a growth business?
Yeah, so a lifestyle business, in my opinion, is somebody who has started a business and they started making some money, right? But what happens when you start making some money and you start having a little bit of extra money? It's like, well, let me upgrade, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean upgrade the business. I'm talking about upgrading
Let me upgrade.
Let me upgrade the car. Let me upgrade the house.
Yeah.
Let me upgrade my clothes. Let me upgrade the places I go shop.
Yeah.
The bars I go to and hang out and drink. Let me spend some extra money, right? Because I've been working hard. And then you just kind of keep doing that, and you keep doing that, and you keep doing that. Now, that's not necessarily scalable, right? Because you're taking the money out of the business because you've worked hard for it, and now you're used to it.
Sure.
Now it's an expectation. Versus a growth business, in my opinion, is somebody who is by design continuing to just take as little as they can, continue to reinvest money into the company. Maybe you're still living well under your means, but you're putting it back in. You're growing it. You're putting it into infrastructure, into people, into technology, and you're set about growing your business. Not everybody does that.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that. I think it was, and I called out Mark Cuban last time. So I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna reference him, and this time I'm gonna send him a shout out because he did say, like, he had $1 million in the bank, and the guy was still living off of like ramen soup.
Yeah.
Right. And so he wasn't spending it because he didn't consider it his, right, for what he was trying to build.
Yeah, actually, I think I've heard one of the things that he says is one of the things that kills small businesses from the get-go is actually having too much capital at the outstart, because you don't have to struggle and be creative you don't have that drive. There's not that lack of capital forcing you to be creative in your business and create efficiencies because you already have some money. I've actually heard him say that as well.
Absolutely. And so what I think a great topic for today is to just really talk about what is the lifestyle business, because maybe I really do think that there's a lot of people who are out there who are in business who don't realize that they're a lifestyle business.
Right. Well, and I think a lot of that is predicated on your personal goals, be it business and personal goals, because you might operate it, be a growth business or a lifestyle business, just predicated on what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? Did you just want to have a good time? Maybe a lifestyle business is what you need to be doing. But
until the shit hits the fan.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Can you say pandemic? Right.
Yeah.
So just a quick example. I know of a business that was pulling in $1 million a year, and their net margins were half of that. Man. So they had $500K every year, like clockwork, and they got the big house. They upgraded the cars, and now they needed that money, right, every year. And while things were great, it was awesome. They were putting a little away, but not enough to make up $500K a year, right? And so what happened was, the shit hit the fan, and now what do I do? Because now I have to. My business is shot. The business was killed. It was dead. Mm-hmm. They had a little bit of money left over, and now you have to come up with an idea that can net you 50% margins, or for a way to you to keep $50,000 or $500,000 in your pocket every year.
Yeah.
And those businesses are tough to come by.
And so this is really interesting, because what I think happens here is it's where the focus is. So is the focus on yourself and your lifestyle and how you want to live, or is it creating something, having an impact. And what I tend to see a lot of times is people that are more concerned about having a long-lasting impact on the world, long-lasting impact on their clients, are less worried about their lifestyles. I mean, obviously, it's not always the case. But if you're so worried that, hey, if I create this business, this is going to change how the world sees X, Y, or Z, or it's going to change this industry, I think that you're so focused on getting to that goal that you don't necessarily look at your day-to-day lifestyle. That's not your primary driver. I mean, would you agree with that?
I don't know. What do you think, Boz?
Yeah, no, I do agree, because, it depends on, are you going to be focused on you as the individual, or you, in a holistic sense, the company? Because I think that drives your actions from there on out. And I think, to the earlier points, when you have much more of a meager lifestyle in skipping the immediate gratification for the long-term goal, that will dictate how you run your business and how you run your personal life. Is this a lifestyle business, or can I sacrifice relatively now for the greater good of building that intrinsic value, even monetary value, for later on down the road, if you're looking to sell at some point in time down the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at someone like Elon Musk, for example, you hear him frequently talk about he's not really concerned about money or wealth, and now he's becoming the richest guy in the world because he's so focused on building something that's going to create a lasting impact on the world, with these technologies, with these different ideas. And so when you're focused on that, you're really more, it's almost like you're selfish in the terms of legacy, because you want to know, how am I going to be remembered? How is my impact on the world? What is my impact on the world going to be? And so a lot of times you're focusing all that excess cash and cash flow to achieve those goals. I mean, look, everybody wants to have a good lifestyle, and I'm sure, Elon's not skipping meals and all that kind of stuff.
No,
but
he's gained a little weight.
Yeah. But, I think when that external goal of focus is to reach a specific goal to impact humanity, impact your people, impact your customers, I think that kind of leads you towards investing more in your business, creating something where you can scale the business, where you can have other people providing value to your customers. I don't know. That's kind of the way I see it.
But all right. So just to play the other side, right? There are a lot of people who, look, we're in an on-demand society.
Sure.
And look at what your neighbor's driving. Look at what they're wearing. Look at Facebook. That's all you see is, hey, look how awesome my life is.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a bunch of BS. 99% of that stuff on social is BS. But that's what. So how do you got to keep up with the Joneses, right? And so
some people
do.
I think some people are.
So can you really blame people for being
Not at all.
a lifestyle business?
No, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I mean, you look, people can have their own goals, and I think there's a lot to be said for enjoying your life and spending the fruits of your labor. And you didn't steal it from somebody. You still created value. You still created something that you're providing a service or a product to people. You've made money, and you want to have some of the fruits of that hard work right now. I mean, that's understandable.
By that same token, don't get pissed off when the shit hits the fan.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, because I'm driving nice, and I've got the nice threads, and now you weren't left with anything. You didn't see the pandemic coming, and it could be anything, right? Life happens. It doesn't have to be a pandemic.
Yeah.
But life happens, right? So don't be upset when you're in a lifestyle business and so pulling all the money out to live your standard of living, to me, that's when you're milking the cow dry.
Yeah. And that's a great point, because we were talking about it a little bit earlier. When I think about lifestyle business, that's exactly what I think about, somebody that's using the business to fund their lifestyle. But one point that you brought up was, you can use the business to fund your lifestyle, but are you actually saving maybe in a different vehicle? Right. And that's something I didn't really think about as much, because I don't necessarily see that as much, where people are pulling out the money and then they're putting in something else, but what does that tell you about a business, right? Let's say you were investing in a publicly traded company, and the profits they were taking out and putting it in something else. I mean, what does that mean? That's really signaling to people that, hey, I feel like there's a better return outside of my business, or I don't see enough opportunities within my business to continue to reinvest. And, maybe people aren't business owners might not be thinking about it in that way. They might be thinking, I'm trying to diversify my risk. I don't want everything tied up in this business, which is, I think that's something you need to do as well. But it also sends a signal that maybe that, hey, there's not as much opportunities to grow in this industry, in this business, as there are outside. I don't know. I mean, that's what I would see. That's what I think it signals a little bit if you're returning all your cash to the owner, basically, to invest other places.
Well, so there are a lot of pros and cons. So let's do something fun. On the count of 3, we're gonna do either thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay.
For lifestyle business, on what you believe. On just if you're for it, no, just yes or no. It's just thumbs up or thumbs down. Ready? So on the count of 3, lifestyle business. 1, 2, 3. Oh.
Yeah, I think that's a consensus. That's a general.
Oh no! All right, so now we got to talk about that, right?
Okay.
All right. So why not lifestyle business? What's your opinion? So what are the? So say you're saying, okay, I don't want to be a lifestyle business, or I shouldn't be, or it's not recommended. So give us the why you advocate for the growth side.
Well, I mean, I advocate for the growth side just because I think that's the more longer term view. As I mentioned earlier, you can have the immediate gratification. You can, have this money that you've earned. It's your prerogative and it's your right to spend it and accumulate it how you want. But I think that's a very short term focus and a short term, goal to achieve. I think when you have the mindset of the individuals that will, forego the immediate gratification for the longer term goal, that'll actually pay off more in the long run. So my viewpoint is more of a long game than getting the Ferrari now and having the short-term gain. That's my overall mindset on why I would shy away from a lifestyle business, with the caveat, as we mentioned earlier, I think you can have a lifestyle business that's still, you're still operating it in a smart way if you're saving and you're maybe diversifying and you still have a liquidity backing to dig yourself out of a hole. But I think a lot of times we see it to the other side of the coin, where it's a lifestyle business, and should something hit the fan, you really have no ground to stand on. So my viewpoint is more long-term game than short-term immediate.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's just over time as I get older, I'm more concerned with impact rather than financial gain. I mean, once you get to a certain level in your life, I mean, it's kind of diminishing returns on how much each extra dollar means to you. Once you have a whole bunch of money, it's like an additional dollar. What does it really mean? And so I'm more concerned about impact in the long run. And I feel like if you're running your business for growth, running your business for impact and for making lasting change, to me, that's more exciting because you're having an impact. And I think people get it wrong. A lot of times they look at like nonprofits and they look at government, they look at all these other places and how they're affecting people's lives. But the things that have impacted most people's lives are for-profit businesses. Like, think of a Microsoft. Where would we be today if we didn't have Microsoft, or an Apple, or a Henry Ford, or whatever it is? Those guys, they were in for-profit businesses, but the impact that they had on society is much bigger than maybe the Boys and Girls Club, even though it's a great organization. They do amazing stuff. And, we both get involved in a lot of nonprofits and like to do that. But I think, having that little bit of drive and the metrics that are in a business really create more of an impact on society than a lot of times like nonprofits and things like that. So for me, it's more about impact. And I think when your focus is not on the immediate, not on the lifestyle, then you're probably going to be making a greater impact on society.
What about you, Manuel? You were the third thumbs down last time I checked in this recount election here. Yeah. So let's get your take on.
He was the third thumbs down, and he was surprised about
that. Yeah. So let's hear from Manuel on the thumbs down to lifestyle business.
Yeah. So I think for me, it's I've seen when the pandemic hit, I received a slew of phone calls where people were having their oh shit moment.
Yeah.
Right. And there were some people on the ledge. I mean, they were on the ledge. And so for me, I've seen what having a lifestyle business is and not being prepared. Mm-hmm. I've seen what having a lifestyle business as it relates to milking the cow dry and not leaving enough for the rainy day, mm-hmm. right? Because you're always expecting that it's going to be there the same way that you expect that the sun's going to come up the next day. There's no guarantees the sun's coming up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We just expect it does because it always has. But as you've seen this year, things happen, right? So for me, I think it's more the impact, because what happens is a lot of people have their identity tied up in their business.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm living this life. I have this clothes. I have this car. I'm living this prestige. I have this business, but the business tanks. Mm-hmm. Now the money's gone. Their identity is tied up in that business, and because that business has failed, so have they.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was very curious about this. Maybe you can shed some light on it. Let's strip the business out of it for a second. Do you think people run their businesses very akin to the way they run their lives? Because, you know, I'm not running a business right now, but if you were to say, are you in more of a lifestyle or a growth life? I'm in much more of a growth life where I do set aside money. I live very pragmatically, well below my means for those types of events. Do you think there's a correlation between who you are as a person and how you tend to run your business?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. There are people that I've seen in my experience and my background that it's like, show me your car and what it looks like inside.
Right.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's probably what your office looks like. Mm-hmm. Or what your home looks like.
Right.
Or how you are organized. I think that speaks to your organization. Show me your office, and if you got stacks and stacks of paper, just no filing, no organization, that translates into your business. So yes, I absolutely do 100% believe that the way you are as a person and the way you live your life, you connect that to your business, because again, a lot of people believe that they are their business. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you've got an identity issue.
Sure.
When it all goes south, and it's what do you do? So I'm an advocate for growing your business, for leaving money there so that you can take advantage of opportunities. Because look, there's nothing worse than an opportunity coming your way and you can't take advantage of it.
Right. And we see that every day.
It's credit, it's cash,
sure.
it's you know, I mean, we can go down the 5 C's, collateral. My point is that if you can disconnect yourself from the business because you hear the term, "Oh, that's my baby,"
mm-hmm.
Right?
Of course,
that's my special, and I gotta protect it, and I'm gonna go down with the ship. You know what? I say, screw that shit. Don't go down with the ship. This is a completely separate thing. It's like that car you continue to trade in, right? Unless it's some special a vehicle that only increases in value, you're gonna keep it. But if it's not gonna give you anything, or you use it and you're done with it and you move on, and that's what you should do with your business.
Yeah. Get
what you need out of it. Some people parlay that into other businesses, but they keep moving, they keep growing, they keep putting the money aside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was an interesting thing that you brought up, because, you know, I remember when I was running my business, I had underestimated the emotional impact that the business would have on my life and how different things would affect me. I mean, I got to the point where literally there were times where I was having, like, not panic attacks, but I was feeling like almost sick because of stuff happening, you know, and I was like, man, this is just like, I shouldn't be so emotionally tied to this business, because I think yes, it's good because it helps you get past certain hurdles, you know, because you have it so tied to your life. But at the same time, you know, if you were a third party looking at it, you might run the business in a different fashion because you're less attached. You know, it's, you know, I think that was, to me, was one of the biggest eye openers about running the business. It was the emotional impact that I felt during running the business. You know, how, like, I think I told you this in the past. It's like I was running the business. A lot of times I'd be in the office by myself for hours and nobody's there, and I'm just, I don't have anyone to kind of share.
You're like, this
with.
Sucks.
Yeah, this sucks. I look up, nobody's around, and I would be in the office for hours, or there would be things I'd want to talk about with people. And really, because I was in a family business, sometimes I could talk about it with a family member, but it got to the point where it's just like there was no camaraderie in the business like I have right now at a bank, you know, where there's a lot of really sharp people. That I miss that a lot, you know. I mean, I didn't want to talk about the business with my family every day at dinner, you know. And all those emotional things were things that really ultimately were some of the major factors of me, like, leaving the business, you know. So I definitely think those are big factors, and people, you know, maybe they underestimate them sometimes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As a lifestyle business, again, so obviously the three of us don't recommend, or if you can, don't pump the cow dry.
Yeah.
Right. So there's something to say about growth, and I'll give my 2 cents here as to the impact that I believe a growth business will have. But there's 2 ways to grow, right? There's organic growth, and then there's an accelerated growth. And a lot of people fall on different parts of that spectrum because they don't like to take on partners. They don't like to take on additional debt. They don't, especially with money being so cheap right now. I'm like, how do you not? But so there's those 2 different types, and I think it'd be good to share with the audience is to say, okay, I realized that yes, I'm a lifestyle business. I was affected. I haven't been putting as much money away as I should. So let's just say I want to entertain this idea of really growing my business, because look, I don't want to go through this shit again. I'm done, right? I'm gonna go ahead and one last push, and in 5 years I want to get out, right? So they need to get on an accelerated growth, or should they stay organic and then clock out in 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So maybe let's have that conversation with people. If you're out there and you're ready to say, I really do want to grow my business, right? I was lifestyle. I wasn't putting money away. I don't want to get caught like that again. What do I need to do, right? So what does that look like?
It sounds like you're more along the lines of accelerated growth is better for the business. And to be honest, I probably fall a little bit more towards the other way.
Well, not if it's going to make you puke at night, right?
Yeah,
so some people's risk levels, they're like, you want to accelerate growth, but there's a lot of factors there that you have to take into consideration if you're going to go take it from first gear and try to get into 5th gear.
Yeah. I mean, so for me, the reason I kind of lean more a little bit towards organic growth is more about sustainability of the business in the long run. And I feel like if you're growing organically, it's typically more sustainable for the long period of time. And sometimes if you're growing in an accelerated fashion, you don't have the time to think through some of the quality control things, through sustainability of some things. You might cut some corners on management. And so if you grow in a more organic fashion where you're taking a little bit more time and a little bit more steady and have it kind of snowball over time, I feel like as you're growing, you're putting more infrastructure and building a support engine for that business. And so that's kind of where my concern is on too much of an accelerated growth. But it sounds like you maybe are leaning the other direction.
What about you, Boz?
Well, so
before I jump in.
To that point, before you jump in, is I think that all boils down to, obviously the goals and the time frames to meet those goals. Because, I don't disagree. I think organic, just as the name implies, it's a little bit more hands-on and day-to-day. But with organic, you're also capped at a certain amount you can achieve at any one given time. The other end of the spectrum with accelerated growth and be it capital injection, private equity partners, and so on and so forth, maybe you lose a little bit of who you are as a company, a little bit of your identity and image, but you can also get from point A to point B faster, right? So it really is a marriage, and I don't think it has to be one extreme or the other. I don't think it has to be full organic or full accelerated with capital injection up the wazoo, but maybe there's a happy medium too. I think it's all predicated on your goals and your timeline to reach those goals too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so yes, absolutely. There is, I think, so both of you are right in some level. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. With what I agree with as it relates to what we're talking about. What I've seen business owners do when they get into an accelerated growth is you have to have the stomach for it, right? You have to have the commitment as it relates to time, as it relates to family, as it relates to the roller coaster that you're going to be on to get this done. Now, look, I have a high propensity for risk myself. That's just how my brain is wired, and so I'm all about, life is short. There's no guarantees tomorrow. Yeah. Get what you can today, and push. Because if your goal is to be on the beach, right, doing that beer commercial where you're flipping, got the lime in the beer, and you're gonna be drinking and the margaritas and the cabana. If that's what you want, then do you want to do that sooner or like later? Because again, life happens, right? So my mindset is more of get it while you can.
Yeah.
Get in the right mindset and take that leap. Do it strategically, right?
Yeah.
You're not just going to go out there and, well, let me just take money and then just throwing stuff on the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah, I think the way I fall on it is more like maybe it's more about building the infrastructure and the base organically in the beginning to withstand accelerated growth. So I guess maybe what I'm thinking is, don't grow too fast before you're ready. So if you don't have a baseline and infrastructure, you haven't kind of thought about building your business in a way which can support a lot more volume, a lot more scale, then maybe you're not ready for that accelerated growth. And so when I say organically, I mean build the foundation very strong organically. Take your time in order to build that foundation and then bring on the capital to really push accelerate. Mm-hmm. I'm not for, I mean, like you said, this is like a continuum, and I think that there definitely is time when it's time to start accelerating, start bringing people in. And you made some good points too. I mean, you might be able to bring in some smart capital. Maybe you've got a private equity firm that has expertise in this particular industry that can get you the contacts, that has the right managers that they can bring in and really accelerate. For me, it's what's the platform? Is the platform built out? And if that platform is built out, then I'm a little bit more okay with stepping on the gas. But I think organically building the platform is important. Once you kind of feel that you can be successful with more volume because everything's in place, then maybe I'm more willing to it. And right. I think it's funny because we all, I think, we fall differently on the risk spectrum. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm risk averse. This guy's ready to go jump out of a plane. I'm like, I don't know if I drive from here to there. That's plenty dangerous. I'll stay at home.
I'm probably in the middle of you two.
Yeah, I think you lean more towards a little bit more risk, where I'm more risk averse. So
yeah.
Well, it really is. So again, it's not about being underprepared. Look, for any journey you're about to take, you don't just get in the car, get on a plane and go, right? You got to pack your shit. Yeah. You got to know what you're taking, right. Where you're, how where much you got to take, where you're going. Like all that has to come into place. Do I have the right pieces? Like you're not going to drive a hoopty across the country, right? You're going to make sure that your tires are right. You got a good engine.
Sure.
So you want those core components there. What happens, Besim, I think, is that a lot of people out there, they over prepare. And then they get what's that called? Analysis paralysis.
Oh, paralysis by analysis.
Paralysis by analysis, right? Where they're so overly prepared that now maybe that ship has already sailed.
Yeah,
sure. Right.
Well, they might have got
too many years went into getting ready, and then they missed the boat.
Or they might have got to a point of success where now they feel like they have some success that they can lose.
Sure.
In the beginning, they didn't have that. And now if they try to take one of these things, then
but you have to take those first steps. Is the point. Like you can do all this analysis and be overly prepared, but I think then your mind starts going, well, this could go wrong or this could go wrong. Well, listen, you don't know until you go, so you have to take those steps in conjunction with being prepared. I think that's a good analogy too.
No, absolutely. It's for me, it's a mindset. Yes, it is a preparation. Nobody's gonna come and throw money at you just because you're ready to do something. They're gonna ask you, what's your plan? Where you headed? And look, one of the biggest issues that I've also seen is that they go at it alone.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
They go at it alone, and because that fear of like, well, if I mess up, I don't want to affect anybody, or I don't want anybody else to know that I failed or that I couldn't do it, and that to go at getting aggressive alone, in my opinion, is also the wrong move.
Yeah.
Right. Is you need resource partners.
I agree 100%.
You need a solid banker. You need a solid attorney. You need solid mentors, solid advisors who really are championing for you to do well.
Yeah, even a leadership team. So like one thing that we see a lot, like in banking, for example, is we'll see entrepreneurs grow their business a certain size, and then they like reluctant to bring on a CFO, reluctant to bring on a CEO, reluctant to bring on like these executive management teams, people that can really grow their business, have done it before, because they're not used to not having control over every little piece of the business. And so I think that's a really key thing. When you get to that point where maybe you're doing too much analysis paralysis, sometimes you need to bring somebody else in that has done this before and that person's vision, and let them kind of be responsible for helping you grow. Right. And you'll be there, to kind of like provide guidance and help drive the goal. But sometimes, bringing somebody else in, and just that energy and that passion and that experience can really help you get to the next level.
Nobody's gotten to the highest level by themselves. You can take Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mark Cuban, like we were talking about earlier. I don't believe in the term, and I don't even think the term exists, self-made man. There's literally nothing you can do as a one-man band. It takes a team. Be it executives or otherwise. And oftentimes I think it's good just to have somebody throw a different viewpoint at you. I mean, Besim thinks one way and I think a different way. We think at times very similarly, but also very differently. Yeah. And it's helpful to bounce off just a different perspective and a way of looking at something or attacking something.
No, absolutely. So there's everybody's dealt a different hand, right? And everybody has to play it differently. The worst thing that you can do is look at your neighbor and say, well, look how awesome they're doing. Yeah. How come I'm not doing awesome? Yeah. Or look how awesome I'm doing, and man, they're stupid because they're not doing like me. Right? And so everybody got dealt a different hand. You play it differently. The moral of the story really does come down to, look, if you want to have a lifestyle business, then go for it, right? But just know that there are some things that might happen where you might get caught off guard. And it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your family, those around you, those that depend on you, employees that you have. Because there's no worse feeling if you're human, right, to have to let people go. Sure, and there was so many business owners that had lifestyle businesses that had some savings and didn't want to let their employees go.
Yeah, it drained everything they had.
Because they're the ones who made the business. Yeah. The employees did, right? And so now I ran this lifestyle business. I sucked everything out of it. And the first people I got to cut out are the people that helped me get there to begin with. And once you disband that, once that band is gone and it disbands, good luck trying to get them back together. Yeah. Right. And get that secret sauce or that recipe that got you to that point. Right. So I think when we're talking about going back to lifestyle businesses is there are a lot of considerations to have. Again, you heard all of our opinions, which are try to grow the business. For me, I remember I told you I would share with you. So for me, it's about that impact, right? Yes, look, you could be a food truck, you could be a plumber, you could be a dentist, whatever it is. So long as you have that purpose and that fulfillment that comes from I'm feeding people great food. I'm helping people sleep well at night, knowing that their pipes are not going to burst. I'm helping people with oral hygiene because that helps the body stay healthy. So long as you're doing it for those reasons, then I think you're going to have that purpose. But more than anything is when you do grow your business, you can really affect the lives of the people that are around you. Again, I've said it in the last podcast. You affect the local community, and then you also affect sort of the wider net as a country as a whole. Mm-hmm. So there's this ripple effect that each of your decisions make, and the better ripple effects are going to be those to try to be sustainable, to have that structure in place, but to continue to grow, because if you're not growing, you're dying, right? Things are not getting any cheaper last I checked. Right.
No, that's a good point.
They're going to continue. So if you're not growing your business, expenses will catch up with you and your margins will shrink.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, you're going to have some attrition in your business every year, and so if you're not growing, you're going to be shrinking, and eventually you'll be out. You'll be obsolete if you're not innovating, if you're not finding different ways to do things, different ways to improve. You're going to be, regressing actually.
Yeah, no, 100%. And my last recommendation is going to be to reach out to people. Like if you have been a lifestyle business and you do realize that you don't want to get caught in this situation again, is surround yourself with people who you can ask questions to, who you can refer to when you're unsure. Some of it might involve opening up and saying, look, here's where my failures have been, but that's okay, because last I checked, nobody here is perfect, right? Everybody has their own share of missteps, and it's how you overcome those missteps that are going to determine your future success.
Sure.
So that's my recommendation, is to surround yourself, ask questions, ask these guys questions. They're a wealth of knowledge. To not leverage them would be a disservice.
Appreciate that.
Oh, likewise. Now, in one of the last things I wanted to say, just, kind of as a general throw out there, is Besim introduced this book to me years ago, and it was life-changing in a sense, because it gave me a lot of different perspective. Is that book, The Millionaire Next Door, which is something I recommend to a lot of people, because it has a lot of these ties to what we're talking about in terms of how you're running your life, and parallels to the business as well, depending on if you're an over-accumulator of wealth or an under-accumulator of wealth, and kind of the mindsets that both approaches take. Not saying one is right or wrong, but basically a good guideline and framework. So I highly recommend that book. That book is still something to this day that I reference, The Millionaire Next Door. It's a great book, great read, and has some really good overarching points that we hit on this podcast as well.
That's one of my favorite books. I mean, I read it a long time ago. It was actually a financial advisor interviewing all his clients and a whole bunch of really wealthy people, and talking about like how they became wealthy, kind of what their lifestyle was like, and kind of looking at different types of people. It's really an amazing book. Trying to forget off the top of my head.
I don't remember the author. But the title sticks out.
We'll put it in the link below.
Well, I add Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Rich Dad Poor Dad really well. So a lot of you business owners out there, when you read that book, you're going to realize that you might not really have a business. What you have is a job.
Yeah.
That you've created for yourself. And that's a tough pill to swallow.
To me, and I know we're going to wind down here in a minute, but to me, the thing that's always interesting for what you really have a job is doctors and lawyers a lot of times. Because those guys
absolutely
really think that they've got some kind of amazing business. They might have their own practice. They do not realize how tied to the business they are, how much their name is the brand of the business. And I've met a few doctors that have actually made conscious decisions to build an external brand or build something else that's scalable. But I see so many doctors and lawyers and other professionals, that have a really hard time or don't even think about detaching themselves from the business, mm-hmm. And part of them really likes to be the person that is the business. But when it comes to actually transferring it, that's when they realize that they don't have as much as they thought they had, because these are very highly educated people. They're very smart, but they just haven't thought of it from that direction. And that's what you said earlier. Sometimes just having somebody from an outside perspective gives you so much value because they're not tied to it.
If you do want to have a lifestyle, right? If you want to maintain your lifestyle, what does it look like to move from when you're earning a paycheck to being self-employed to actually having a business, right? And then finally living off of your investments. And I think that's what a lot of these lifestyle businesses want to do, is they want to live off of something, but they're milking their investment dry. It's like you're making some gains and then you're taking them out.
Yeah.
And you're taking them out. Versus when you're living off of your investments, they're all in there and you're just getting a small portion of those out. That's what you're living off of, mm-hmm. right? And the more you can bank and build up, a little bit more you can take, right? But you're not just taking the entire damn thing and being left with nothing. Because that's what a lot of business owners have. Zero investments in anything else other than their business, and the money that they're taking, they're bleeding it out, and they're left with nothing. So again, lifestyle business, educate yourself, surround yourself with people, and make a conscious decision to how do I want to move forward so I don't get caught like this again. Or even if you're doing well, because there's a lot of businesses that have done well.
Yeah, definitely.
In this pandemic, don't make that mistake of that this party's not going to continue. I know of somebody who ordered all this inventory because it was for the medical, the mm-hmm. masks and the scrubs and all that stuff. And once the market got oversaturated, it all went they had to sell it for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, because it was all, you couldn't find it in the beginning.
The party was over.
And then
the party was over. Yeah. It was good while the game was
good. Same with toilet paper.
Which I got some in the truck.
Sherman went through the roof.
In case I want to buy some.
It was funny. You go to Costco, they used to have the sign out there. We're out of toilet paper.
Of all the things to hoard up in a pandemic, people worry about going to the bathroom more than anything else.
Bidets, people, get a bidet.
That's what I didn't want to go there.
I'll go down that road.
That's a lot of cash in the splash.
That's
if you know what I
a
mean.
game changer, bidets, man.
Yeah.
But in our culture, man, we use those things.
Yeah.
So.
Heck yeah, man. Hey, I'm gonna introduce you to the Hispanic culture as well.
Hurting for a squirting.
Well, Manuel, really appreciate you being here. I'm gonna
Always.
link a link to the prior video so people can get a little bit better idea about your background and everything.
Absolutely.
And then maybe where they can find you and reach out to you if they've got questions. But we appreciate you being here as always. Great wealth of knowledge, and thank you. Adam, why don't you go ahead and send us off?
Sure, absolutely. As always, if you're finding a lot of value and interest in these videos, please share with others that you think might get some value, but hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. We have content coming out on a weekly basis. I want to say again, special thanks to our guest, Manuel. As always, it's Capital Interactive with Besim and the Boz, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thanks, guys.